everybody.
Hello.
Welcome to this Friday's live stream. I am joined here with the illustrious, sexy Wesley Boyer. How you doing, Wesley?
I'm good, especially after that awesome coffee you made this morning. So,
it wasn't actually good?
It was actually really good. I'm very proud.
Okay, so I haven't drank coffee in probably close to, I want to say, maybe 2 years.
Okay. All right.
I have alternatives, tea and other things,
Okay.
and stuff to that nature. So I was curious if the coffee I made this morning was going to be acceptable. I guess I should have known if I would have heard about it, because Casey, our HR representative and operations manager, she is very particular about the coffee she drinks, and I've been one of the few people here that can make coffee acceptably, and it's good to see after 2 years I'm still able to do that.
I got the approval one time too. I was back in Stockholm. She came back. She goes, "Thank you for making the coffee good because I need that." I'm like, "Not a problem. I got you. It's fine."
It's one of those moments where you're like real humble about it. You're like, "Hey, no problem," and then she leaves, and you just turn to yourself,
Yes. Yes.
So we're going to get started with this live stream on a few relevant tech topics, right? The first thing we're going to talk about is the fact that NVIDIA's RTX 2080 Ti cards are a hell of a value when it comes to deep learning programs. What is deep learning? Well, it's a manner in which you use specific functionality of a graphics card to crunch through a huge high level of data. So I'll give props to Lambda Labs, right, that ran these benchmarks, ended up finding out that the RTX 2080 Ti is 87% as fast as a Tesla V100. That is like a $3,000 compute card, for reference.
Okay.
So instead of spending $3,000, you could spend, $1,000 and get almost 90% of that same performance. Oh, and it's 96% as fast as a Titan V, which is also a $3,000 card.
That is.
So, which is kind of strange to me. I wonder if this is something that NVIDIA did intentionally, or if it's just kind of the belly of the beast, considering that RTX cards have ray tracing and tensor core capabilities.
Yeah, absolutely. My standpoint on it, I think it's smart.
Now, as a consumer, if you just knowing these numbers off the top of your head, if you were looking at investing in a $3,000 card originally, and then you see like the performance differences, 96% as fast as a $3,000 card, 87% as fast as a $3,500 card. Like, where would you sit? Would you go for the official cards at the price point? Would that help you feel like you're doing the right thing as far as your utilization and your support goes? Or would you take a chance on, a 60% pay drop or a cost drop and go with the RTX 2080 Ti?
Why not go with the 2080 Ti? I mean, it is, I guess you can kind of look at high risk, high reward, type deal.
Yeah.
But so you know a lot more than I do. So let's just say
that's why I'm trying to break it down. Just look at percentages, dollars and cents. You know what I mean?
So what if I got two 2080 Ti? So would that be? Is that so? Right there, you're almost at the value of one of those cards. But are you getting double the performance?
That is a hell of a question, Wesley, and I'm so glad you asked that. Well, technically, okay, in theory, if you have an application that uses any kind of card like a compute card, a majority of them are designed to take what they got and use it. So if you put, 2 Tesla V100s in a server, or even 8, and you're using it for an application that's designed to work for it, it'll use all 8 of those cards. I've worked with clients before that buy servers that have 8 of these Tesla cards in it, and the response I get back is it's life-changing as far as the performance goes. So, I mean, yeah, it makes sense. It's something that you should technically get your value out of in some way, shape, or form. So that's a really good way of thinking about it, man. Wow.
I mean, if you have that, so if I was a consumer and I had that money and you were talking to me, you're like, hey, I can get you this Titan V.
Right.
Or we could get you 2 of these cards. You're still going to have a little bit of money left over and you're going to get possibly even better performance.
Yeah.
Me as a consumer, that's what I want to hear.
Sure.
I'm going to be honest.
Yeah.
Money boils down to everything. However, with computers, obviously, you're looking into computers for a certain reason, whether it be
yes.
a big project or playing games, anything. There are a million ways to use it. If you were to offer me that, I'd be like, you know what, let's do that. Let's go for it.
Yeah, especially if I was helping you build out a PC, you mean. Take a chance on it. The downside is, here's the problem with RTX cards, though. If you are using any applications that are Quadro specific, the RTX card's going to do nothing for you.
See, now that would be...
I'll give you a good example. We had one gentleman call in on our support line, and our technicians, despite there not being any support, we try to help people out. We don't really ever like leaving people to deal with their own problems if we feel like we can try to help them with it. I mean, and that even goes for things that we don't support. We like to kind of give like a one-time freebie, like, hey, this isn't a situation that we typically support, but I'm going to help you with this situation since you were not aware prior. Absolutely. So we help them, and then they know moving forward, like this is something that we provide support for, and that's industry standard stuff.
Right.
The gentleman purchased a specific graphics card to use with Photoshop because research online indicated that you could, and it worked well. He got it and was having issues with enabling Open GL and OpenCL, and despite everything he read about it working, it wasn't working for him. And if you speak to NVIDIA, and I've worked with NVIDIA closely on a lot of enterprise projects that specifically use Quadro, they'll tell you flat out, the reason why Quadro cards have their price point is because it factors in, not just for the hardware you're getting, but it factors in close and long-term support as far as the applications you're using. Even if you're like a company that develops software and you're building your own software from scratch and you want to use a Quadro solution and you're hitting a dead end, you can literally lean on NVIDIA engineers in the Quadro sector to help you find ways to implement your software and provide a functioning result, in a matter of speaking. Like, that's what you pay for with Quadro. GeForce, they're going to tell you all day, like, it's not what it's meant for. Can't help you. GeForce is gaming. Quadro is professional and solution-based. Hands down. So that's the only downside with using a GeForce product for anything like this.
Right.
You know, if anything, the more I think about it, dude, you being in the position you're in, you know how bad RTX 2080 Ti allocation is, right?
Oh, it's horrible. Think
about if professionals start buying these cards out the yin-yang and how worse allocation is going to be then. Not to mention some of the temperature-based issues that they're running into from time to time. Like, pack 8 of those into a server and see what happens.
Wesley will cry is what will happen.
Just knock on your door to ask you a question. You're just weeping to the palms of your hands.
They all want replacements.
Okay, man, someone died. 25 RTX 2080 Ti's. Where am I going to get 25? I can't even get 3.
He's not wrong, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, man. So it is what it is. It's just interesting. I bring that up to kind of get the gears moving a little bit. Speaking of getting the gears moving a little bit, according to reports, Google wants to destroy the physical wallet as we know it. Not even just as far as payment goes. Now they are working on an API where you can have a digital official version of your license on your phone.
I'm not opposed to that.
Dude, me neither.
Okay.
I mean, like, I'll kind of show here in a sec the kind of wallet I have, and I'll explain why this is something that I'm super excited about. Just running with the cliche that men typically carry wallets in their back pocket and how uncomfortable that can be just to sit on, right? Absolutely. The kind of wallet I have, you can't really see a whole lot, you know, but it's not like a standard size wallet. Like, it opens once, it holds bills in the center, but it's designed more or less just to hold cards, right? With, you know, I got my ID in the front. And I did that because I didn't want to be forced or have the ability to carry around a whole lot in a wallet, because then it gets fat real quick and then it's just uncomfortable, right?
Yes, that is very true.
So if this is something Google commits to, I will 100% find digital ways of working with what I have in my wallet as far as like store cards, gift cards. Google has, and Samsung to some degree, they have some really cool ways for you to integrate all that stuff on your phone anyway. The actual downside, I guess the part that makes it a little tricky is some stores don't work and interact with phone screens very well, which I learned firsthand.
Yeah.
I used some app on Google where it's like, take all the gift cards, take all your store cards, you know, Walgreens, Target, Walmart, Giant Eagle, Kroger, take all those cards, scan them into your phone, and now you have digital versions that you can just walk up to a kiosk, show it to it, and beep, you're done. Mm-hmm. I did all that with like 30-some cards in my wallet and then threw all those cards away, and I was like, bye, and then went to stores and just sat there and put my phone in front of the scanner and nothing's happening. And I'm like, can I type this in? Like, is that possible? No, sorry, just pull your card out. Yeah, there's a problem with that. I can't do that at all, really, because I'm a moron.
Yeah.
And kind of jump the gun there. So if we can if that becomes like a standard, in most stores, which I'd probably give it maybe 10 years until that problem's solved, because most stores.
I would lower the amount of years, because like
so?
when
Okay.
like Android Pay and like Apple Pay, when all that came out.
Yeah, which was, I want to say they started to do that one like in maybe 2015, around there.
Somewhere around there.
Okay.
Within like, I mean, I had heard about it, but within about 2 years, everybody had it.
Fair enough.
So
you make a good point, sir.
Hello, Rutu.
Hey, Rutu. Welcome.
So
thanks for joining.
Hello, Dragonfly.
Hey, Dragonfly.
So I will say though, it is very handy.
Yeah.
However, you do bring up a good point. You're just slapping your phone here and it's not wanting to work.
Hey. Hey.
And then let me say a quick story of my own. So
please.
I'm sitting here slapping my phone like this is not working.
Now, were you actually slapping it? Were you like,
I mean, not
let's
like,
go. Hey, I pay for you. Work.
I mean, I hate my phone, but not that much. Like, I need it. It can't break. But I'm like, come on. So as I'm up here, like a good distance, bloop, I'm like, bruh.
Bruh.
What is this? But moving towards a future like that, I'm not opposed to it. Just because, well, you have a wallet. I have 2 kids,
Sure.
and they get into everything.
Yeah,
I cannot tell you how many times I've just set my wallet down, like just not thinking, and they just are like, let me take the cards. Let me take all of this.
Oh,
and
man.
I get to the store, and I'm like, yeah, let me get my debit. Oh, no.
Yeah.
They'll just put all this back for me. I'll be back in an hour.
Oh, geez.
I think it's phenomenal, though. I think it's really interesting that we live in a world that that could be digitalized.
Oh, dude, right? And the form of digital payment on a phone too has saved my ass a time or two. I literally, like, the times where I'm like sitting at home lazily in like sweatpants, and then I'm like, oh, you had to go to the store and get stuff for dinner because I don't have it, and I'm like, okay, so I just throw on a clean pair of jeans without like remembering, like, hey, you have to take the man tools with you before you leave, right? Including your wallet. I'll just get my car and drive and get there, scan everything, reach for my wallet, and go, oh man, but then pull out my phone and put it to like the point of sale, and it's like beep, beep, and I'm like, ha 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 ha, yeah, save my butt a time or two for sure. I just hope they can take it a step further as far as point of sale systems supporting all forms in that regard. And I mean, I was gonna say stores typically update their point of sale systems now. It feels like anywhere between 5 to 10 years, depending.
So the last place I worked at, they updated their POS a lot.
Did they? Now, did they use an actual point of sale with a PC, or was it just like an iPad? Because it seems like a lot of people use touchpads.
So it was actually a PC.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
However, the first one, when I first got there, because I went through 2 POSs. So the first one, it was amazing.
We're still talking about point of sale, right? Or are you talking about PC yet?
Oh, no, point of sale. So the first one was awesome. It laid out everything, because we had to do, a bunch of financial stuff at the end of the night.
Sure.
Record this paperwork and things of that nature. And it had it all like in a graph. It was beautiful. And then we got this POS that was a real POS. And my God, it was horrible. The card reader never wanted to work. The chip reader didn't work for almost 2 years afterwards. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm tired of this.
I get that all the time at stores. I'll put my card in, and the chip's like chip read error, and then I end up pulling my phone out. And they're like, that won't work. And they're like, oh.
I've had that happen to me too. Like, I'll go in and I'm like, hey, do you guys support Apple Pay? Oh, no. We're about to find out, I suppose.
I saw a few people recently, completely separate topic, but I know Samsung was literally trying to go after Apple users with their S10. And I'm actually seeing a lot of people on social media posting about how they're ditching Apple and going with the S10. Like, so much so that Samsung added an app that's on there by default for you to transfer things from your Apple to your S10.
Wow.
And it's like they're doing it. Like, I've been seeing people on my friends list just like, bye, Apple, bye. I'm like, well,
I've seen
congratulations.
I've seen that as well. I've seen a lot of people jumping from Apple to S10. One of our production guys did
really?
that. Yeah.
Good for him.
And
good for him.
I mean, I like my Apple. I mean, it works. That's all I need at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what all that matters, as long as it actually is functional for you and it makes sense and it does the thing, then you're good to go. So we're going to move on to the next topic. We kind of hung on that for a while, but I mean, it was fun.
It was interesting.
It was fun. Likely something, according to Google, likely something that we won't actually see implemented into the wallet system until 2020. Well, they won't even talk about it, according to the reports. But still, security is a concern. One last thing before we move on. Samsung has this security encryption called Knox, Samsung Knox. And if you have your pay to play, essentially, on your phone, it's encryption that it has to be enabled or you can't use it.
Oh.
That was actually the major reason why I stopped rooting my phones.
Really?
Yeah, I used to root my phones all the time back in the day just because I didn't like the default software on phones that was preloaded. So I loaded my own, what they called ROMs. You lose manufacturer support when you do it, but I didn't care.
Right.
If you do it with a Samsung phone that has the implemented Samsung Pay, it breaks.
Really?
Because you have to have encryption. Well, think about it. And you can only enable your credit cards. Like what I do, I have it set where like I swipe up on my phone and I can swipe through my credit cards. And when I choose one, it's like enable to use it, and I have to use a fingerprint.
For me, it asks for my passcode.
Really?
I could set up fingerprint, but
it was like that on my S8. On my S9, it was fingerprint only.
Really?
Or iris scan. Yeah, I use the iris
I like
scan
the
to log
iris
in.
scan.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's weird. Especially in like low lighting conditions, it doesn't always work.
That's understandable.
Yeah. So, onward to the next topic, which this is something I am genuinely excited about. According to reports, 3rd gen AMD everything is dropping in 2019. What is everything? Can you please specify, Joe? Sure. By everything, I mean APUs, graphics cards, desktop processors, workstation processors. Dude, everything. So that means new Ryzen chips, new APUs, new Threadripper. We know about, the Radeon 7, so hopefully more to follow. AMD has adopted this way of life, this way of just dangling everybody on a string like they're so close. I needs it. Can you give it to me, AMD? Yeah. They call it the nonstop product momentum is the moniker they've adopted, and it is brilliant. And it's really, it feels like just the way in which they're going about it, just how aggressive it is. It feels bigger than what Intel does. I know Intel kind of does the same thing. 1 year tick, next year talk. I know they say they dropped it, but they're still kind of following it to a degree. They call it a refresh now.
Okay.
This feels a lot more aggressive. Do you feel just knowing that AMD wants to come out with nonstop products every year, being somebody who is using an AMD product, right? You're using an AMD.
Not anymore.
Oh, you're Intel now.
I am Intel.
I thought you were AMD.
But I do have, I can't answer your question, though.
Do you feel like does this make you want to reconsider using AMD? Because I'll tell you right now, it makes me want to reconsider using AMD. Even though that I currently I'm on the X299 platform, it makes me want to go back to AMD.
Well, Joe, let me tell you.
Well,
it kind of startles me.
Why?
So if they're going to boom, new product this year, boom, new product this year. So let's just take good old video games for an example.
Sure.
Companies that pump out these things every single year.
Okay.
Do you not worry about, okay, they're just trying to saturate the market as much as possible? Do you not worry about, what's the word I'm thinking of? Is the product going to be good if they're just pumping it out left and right?
That's a good point. I can see that.
I do enjoy AMD. I think the Ryzen series is awesome.
Okay.
My sister, I recently built her a computer. I put a Ryzen in there for her.
Yeah.
She's had no problems. She loves it.
Okay, that's good.
I had the FX 8370, I believe, for the longest time. Loved it. Worked perfectly fine for me. However, that particular model, for as big of a gamer as I am, and how much, like, I see a lot of genuine IPs that have taken a hit over the year just because of that particular model.
Sure.
It does kind of concern me.
Really?
If they can execute it right, I feel like it could be in their favor, which AMD's been trying to get into that favor range for a while.
They are, and honestly, I think at this rate, and this is no slight to AMD whatsoever, but I think at this rate, if they weren't coming out with nonstop products, it would be very seldom, because that's the way they used to do things. AMD used to come out with products, CPUs as well, that when they came out, and it was like maybe once every 3 years, we'll say.
Okay.
All right. And I mean, the life cycle of the product was great. It was around, the boards were there, and it's awesome. But then you have 2 years after the first year of releasing a product, where you have Intel coming out with new products on top of it, getting other people excited. Well,
Yeah.
AMD is like, yeah, but we still have this processor that competes. The one thing that doesn't do is excite. And I hate to admit it, I am an IT consumer that if somebody builds excitement around a product, I will get excited.
Yeah.
If it's something I'm interested in, I will get excited. Like just reading this article about like 3rd-gen AMD products and like the nonstop momentum, I was like so happy. I was like, dude, please come out with a Threadripper CPU that's going to like, even though I don't think it needs to, it's going to answer to Intel's 28 core. If AMD was to do anything to address their single core performance without it obstructing their current price point moniker, Intel would have a problem. They'd have a big problem on their hands because that's something that they continue to hold a candle to AMD with is single core performance.
Yeah.
But AMD is rocking the multi-core performance ground, you know?
Yeah. I mean, we see it here.
Sure.
There's a reason we see a lot of Threadrippers move and things of that nature.
That's probably a good 70% of the workstations we sell now are Threadripper.
Yes.
I hoped that was something that would happen, you know, being a supporter of AMD products and hopefully one day wanting to see them kind of find their niche in the industry, and they've found it, and I don't see that really stopping anytime soon.
Well, I kind of feel like Intel's like, oh, we actually have some competition now, because I can see, I can just see the, not very worried, but like, oh, we should be watching this now.
You know, I've had conversations with people, and I hear mixed things. I hear some people that claim that everything AMD is doing and Intel's response to it is legitimate. And then I've had other people kind of tell me their opinion as well. Intel has to let AMD win or have some wins or have some competition, because if they don't, then we're looking at a monopoly, and then they're going to split up Intel in divisions and make them 2 separate companies because you have to have competition. It's like, yes and no. Like, I could see both sides of that story.
Well, Ruo2 just said, and he has a good point, AMD doesn't need to answer to a 28-core Intel processor. That thing is way too expensive, coming at $3,000 plus auction only.
Yeah.
And a $2,000 motherboard. Now, I'd 100%.
WTF is that, mate?
I agree with that.
Naruto, you're not wrong, dude. And I mean, not going to lie, I'm getting people that have a general interest in that platform, and they're going for it because they have the need for single core performance as well. And, you know, you can't shake a consumer that's got any level of loyalty in a brand if that brand has done great things for them in their life, professionally or personally.
Absolutely.
Intel's got that. AMD's got that as well. But yeah, $1,500 for a motherboard. It's niche, dude. It's niche product. We have banners promoting that board on our site with Asus in collaboration. We have that board available for sale. We have configurations with it. I mean, we will recommend that configuration as needed, but it is definitely not something that we can push to people, unfortunately, when it comes to value. That is Threadripper all day, every day, man, without a doubt. I mean, you can see we have kind of shots of the configurator now with the system scrolling through. I mean, the starting price point, yeah, it's there, and there's nothing we can do about that because of the cost of the hardware, obviously. But I mean, I agree with Naruto. It's just
I 100% agree with them.
This just isn't a platform for consumers. This is professional use. You know,
100%.
I want to see how the thing overclocks. That's what I want to see. Are we gonna need us some CO2? Probably. Yeah, we're gonna need some we're gonna need some nitrogen. 100%. I've been building everybody custom liquid cooling loops for this CPU.
Really?
Just for the CPU, dude. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. We have an Asus triple cooler on there, triple red cooler, if you want to use that. It's like I don't really care. We're just going to do what we do. So here's some coolings. Back to AMD real quick, though. I just want to touch on a few things, as stated here in my notes. I was a little incorrect in my statement originally. I listed like 3 different things that they were going to do. Double that. AMD wants to release upwards to 6 new technologies per year or more. That includes their new Rome server CPUs.
Okay.
Epic. I feel like Epic just came out
I didn't even know Epic was a thing until it came through one day.
Dude, yeah, and I mean their name is true to life, and they are epic. Now they have Rome CPUs coming out.
Rutu wants to know, are we going to sell the 28 core Intel processor with a chiller?
We can. Do you want that processor with a chiller?
Just give us a call. We'll make it happen.
It's
what
chilled.
We do. But no, back to Epic. I didn't even know that came through. I was like, what is this?
There's a thing, and they still feel so new, and they're coming out with Rome CPUs. It is all based on a new architecture that they're calling Matisse, M-A-T-I-S-S-E, Matisse. That's how it sounds like it's pronounced. I could be horribly wrong. And if so, if you're offended, that's too bad. Matisse features 2 dies, 2 physical dies.
Ooh.
Right? And a chiplet die containing 8 cores based on the Zen 2 microarchitecture. Man, I wasn't impressed with Zen at all. That's kind of like what Bulldozer was. Do you remember the Bulldozer CPUs? Okay. I remember the Bulldozer CPUs. They were like one of the first forms of 8-core CPUs in mainstream.
Okay.
And people were losing their minds over it. And then out came Bulldozer, and because of the way that they were handling processing loads, 8-core Bulldozer CPUs were no different than Intel's 4-core with hyperthreading. Because those 8 cores didn't have hyperthreading is the problem. So it was literally just a 4-core CPU with hyperthreading, but they counted the threads and called it 8-core.
Rutu said Matisse is the Ryzen they showed at CES.
Okay, yes. All right, so there we go. It's the whole new architecture, right? I'm curious to see how it's actually going to perform. But it's built using TSMC's 7-nanometer manufacturing process and an I/O die featuring PCI Express 4 lanes.
Woo!
Yeah, dude. So native PCI 4.0, the first in a chip. And it's built using GlobalFoundries 14 LPP fabrication technology. Eat snacky s'mores. So that's, I mean, I'll believe it when I see it. And again, that's not a slight against AMD. I've said the same thing about Intel stuff. Like anytime they claim something, I'll believe it when I see it. Like, hey, we're working on a GPU. Okay, Intel, I will believe it when I see it.
That's a big thing for me.
It is.
I can read this stuff all day, but as soon as I see it with my own 2 eyes.
I know people say, like, oh, have you ever seen $1 million? No. Well, then how do it exists, though? You haven't seen that with your eyes. Like, don't be dumb.
Right?
Stop that right now. You
something,
silly man
that's
child.
Something Gerard would say.
Yeah, that feels like something Gerard would say.
My.
I mean, I did tell him a really lame dad joke the other day.
Dad jokes, they're meant to be lame. That's why they're good.
Here's the thing. I asked Alexa to tell me a joke before my daughter went to bed. And she said some good jokes, and she said some horrible jokes. One of the simple ones was, why did Zero start dating?
Why?
Because it wants to find the one.
Man, that's good. Like, it's so bad, it's good.
And then here's a good one. What did the octopus say to the other octopus that it was dating?
What?
Let's hold hands. And hands, and hands, and hands, and hands, and hands, and hands, and hands.
The look on your face was, that was good. Look, dad jokes never go away, thanks.
No, they don't. No. In fact, what I want to do next time, the next time you come on, Wesley, I would love for us to do like a shorter section of news, like tech news and gaming news. And the other section, I want it to be a dad joke competition.
Oh, I'm down.
Like the ones that you see like Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg have done. That's what I want to do.
Oh, I will spend all week getting prepared.
Okay, good.
Oh.
Good. So you're down there? We're going to do that?
Oh,
okay.
100%.
It's
Recon
happening.
Spartan sent us a very bland face, like, bruh. Really?
Yeah, dude.
Really?
What do you want from me? They're dad jokes, man.
To be fair, we're both fathers, so, like, I mean.
They're daddy jokes. They're meant to be corny and ridiculous and not something that you would ever say to another grown man because you'd probably get knocked out.
Gerard says, keep my name out your mouth, Joe.
No.
Ooh, Rutu has a good point. Make a button that tells random dad jokes. Innovation.
Exclusive to AVADirect.
More innovation.
Our AVA dad joke button.
We're just going to start putting on people's PCs. What does this button do? Tells you a dad joke.
Man, I'm feeling real down about myself. This driver's taking forever to download.
Rutu said, do it.
Okay. It's happening. It's in the works at AMD's or at AVADirect's R&D laboratories. So we'll see. We're going to move on to AVA news real quick, though.
What's going on at AVADirect, Joe?
AVADirect now offers NVIDIA's triple threat bundle.
What?
What's a triple threat bundle, man? I don't know. Figure it out. No, seriously. For a limited time, if you purchase an RTX 2080 Ti or RTX 2080 graphics card, you don't get one. You don't get two. But 3 sweet AAA titles. What titles?
Three games with ray tracing.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I see
it's
what
not,
you're doing
it's not
there.
Mount Your Friends. I was just joking.
I would actually be okay with that.
Me too. It's Metro Exodus. So Battlefield 5, Anthem, and Metro Exodus. An incredible $180 value that you get for free if you buy a $700 to $1,000 graphics card. So, I mean, it's good, right? Motivation. You could take that $180 and you could deduct it from the cost. If that makes you feel better,
yeah.
you know? Like, I'm not paying for the card. I'm getting those 3 games, and I'm getting a discount on my card. That's how you look at it, right?
Most definitely.
Now, if you pick up an RTX 2070 or 2060, you get to choose from one of those 3 games.
Now, let me say, this makes me really sad because the triple threat wasn't a thing when I got my 2070. So the 2 games I had to choose from, I already had.
Yeah.
And Metro's on there. I cried. So, but you don't have to. You can get one of the 3 or all 3. Just go
Really?
for all 3.
Really?
Just go for it.
Really?
As a wise man named Shia LaBeouf said, just do it.
You got that from Rooter, didn't you? You read that and you just heard it in Shia LaBeouf voice, didn't you? Real life cannibal Shia LaBeouf, running from the forest, Shia LaBeouf.
Adremo, I apologize if I butchered your name, but he said, do you think that the big news of Inside Xbox is Halo MCC coming to PC? Well, we will cover that.
Oh, we are going
here
to.
shortly.
Don't think that we're going to let you go so easily without discussing those news.
Ruru2 said, so the 2060 comes with 1 game. Isn't that going to beat the 1660 Ti price point?
Yeah.
More of a reason to get a 2060 app.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Well, here's the thing. I didn't really see the value in having a GTX series of cards along with the RTX series of cards. I thought they were just going to commit to RTX, and that's the new moniker moving forward. Until I worked with a client that specifically needs GTX cards because of what they're capable of, and that the focus of RTX cards didn't do anything for them because it was lacking in GTX features and vice versa. And then it makes sense.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Giving people options. If they decide to do RTX and GTX variants, I mean, they're going to do a lot as far as like creating some allocation issues, I think, right? If you're going to have 2. But at the same time, I don't know. It's hard to say because it's still new. Still new to us.
Oh, yeah.
Next on news. Oh, I talked about it already, but we're offering the Asus ROG Dominus board. You saw the slides. We showed you the page. It was nice. It's pretty. It's expensive, but it is for the extreme enthusiast and professional alike. So if you're either 2, come at me, bro. Or sis. I don't want to be sexist. Right.
Respectable.
The coolest thing about the board, though, is the fact that it has 12 DIMM slots on it. Supports up to 192 gigs of memory. Uses not 1, but 2 24-pin EPS cables. 2. Dude, the heat sink on the thing, the VRM heat sink on it is massive. It's like the whole top portion of the board.
Okay.
2 8-pin EPS, 2 24-pin ATX, and 12 DIMM slots.
So I did get to see it.
Yeah.
And when I did see it, I was like, ooh.
That's a board that you could do some damage with, figuratively and physically. Like you really could.
Yeah.
Yeah. The locking mechanism for the socket is very similar to Threadripper's.
Oh, really?
Which is interesting, yeah. You don't slide the CPU in place, but it locks down in a certain way. So,
real quick, Ruru2 said maybe they'll release a GTX 1880 around a $400 price point.
Dude, that would be murderous to AMD. I hate to admit that, but if they did that, that would just be that would be petty.
It is probably a reality that we just don't know about yet.
That would be petty, dude. It's a thick boy.
It is a thick boy. Let me tell you.
Boy. Last but not least, we're going to PAX East.
What?
We're going to be there at the end of the month, and we're going to be at the Asus booth. We are building a custom system, painted, pretty. Not going to tell you what the theme is because you're just going to have to come see it for yourself. And as if things couldn't get any better, we are going to give the system away.
What?
We're giving it away.
No way.
It's like a $3,000 system. It's got an RTX 2080 in it. So, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For real. Now, bear in mind, we'll do a Gleam giveaway on it. So, subscribe to all of our social media channels. And if you have already, do it again. Because why not? And reasons, right? And we're thinking about doing some other special stuff over there. It's going to be me, and it's going to be the individual that built the system, Mr. Zachary Finelli. You guys remember him from when he was on the stream in the earlier days, right? He also did a lot of discussion on the Relentless Defender system that we built. He's the one that built the modded system for CES that was at Alphacool's booth. So you'll know all about the details as we approach closer and closer to PAX East, and we'll be there. And if you're there, come say hi. Maybe I'll give you a T-shirt.
What?
Or maybe it'll be a hug or a date.
Why not all three?
Kind of like what's it? Kind of like an 8-ball. You shake it and see what the result is. Don't shake. You don't have to shake me. I'll shake myself. Just saying. But that's it. That's all we got for news. Now we're going to move on to the gaming segment.
Gaming, you say?
I feel like other than like the news segment footage that we have with like the whole like, hey, it's the news, we should do it for tech and gaming too. We're going to. Why not? We'll do it at some point.
So before we hop into gaming,
I don't know. We're going to hop right in.
Well, hold on.
Right in. Sorry, go ahead.
A PC that's going to run these games that we're talking about.
Sorry, go ahead.
I see on the lovely screen. Let's talk about the redheaded stepchild, all puns intended, the Brimstone, real quick.
This one right here.
This one right over
here. System that's right here.
What? We're pointing at it. It's an actual thing, I swear.
It's like my child when they're hungry and they just,
ooh.
Brimstone here. We are going to practically give this away. We're not going to give it away, but practically we're going to. We will run a promotion around it. It is going to be at an insane price. I mean when I say insane price.
Yeah.
Like disgustingly cheap based on what it's being built for. So stay tuned. We'll have more on the promotion in the upcoming week or weeks. You won't want to miss it. We only have one. I will point that out. We're only selling one. It's this one right here. So we're not going to build like 15 of them. If you're interested, I'll give you a good price, though. If it's like, oh, you missed it. Oh, no. It's like an eBay bid that you lose, but then the seller contacts you afterward, and he's like, I got you, fam. Just pay a little bit more, and you can get one, too. Just a little more. A little more, right? We can customize it. Over 9,000 gaming news stories. 1,000 doll hairs.
9,000 gaming stories is very inaccurate, okay?
Yeah.
There's always a lot that goes on, but interesting? Okay.
Adventure? Excitement? Jedi not knows these things.
You're not wrong. But let's go ahead and dive into the gaming, as that is my area of expertise. So first things first, probably the most exciting thing. So
are you the realist?
Yeah.
Okay.
First things first. The Witcher 3 game director joins Cyberpunk 2077 team. What?
Dude, such hype.
That is
much Witcher.
Look, okay, so Cyberpunk 2077 is my most anticipated game right now.
Oh, I know. We've heard all about it. Trust me.
Well, I have to make sure it is known.
You like name drop it constantly. Hey, good morning, Wesley. Good morning, Cyber 2077.
You're right. You're right. So real quick, I'm gonna steal this page.
Oh
no! Real quick, I'm sorry.
Take your notes.
All right.
Get out of here.
So the team member the game director that is joining the 2077 team, I cannot pronounce his name. However,
try to do it. Try to pronounce it. Come on.
Thomas. Oh, okay. Thomas Quigs. All right. It's my best attempt.
I want to try it.
Well, you probably know.
Thomas Akawikas.
That actually sounds a lot better than what I did.
Akawikas. I don't know. It's like I could never repronunciate Connor's Indian name from Assassin's Creed 3. It was just Redneck Yarkin.
That's good.
That's why I call him Redneck Yarkin.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. However, he is going to be filling the gap to recover from Sebastian Steffine. I hope that's right. Leaving CDPR to work for Blizzard. So with him coming on board, he'll also serve as the VP of game development.
Wow.
And unfortunately, this is going to tie into something that I saw this morning. It is a good ways away from release. So,
how far away is a good ways?
I mean, it's going to be at E3 2019 this year, so hopefully we'll have some more. However, I do think, if you want my honest opinion, I think this is going to be a game that's going to launch alongside the next generation of consoles.
Ooh, which they're already working on, which is crazy. I had no idea. I thought those consoles released a lot sooner than they did. Like,
no.
Literally, time has flown since the release of these consoles.
2013 was
wow,
when it came
dude.
out. It's insane.
God.
Time flies. Which I'm excited. I mean,
I am too. It's just I feel old.
It's same.
I feel so old.
So for how much of a success the Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt was, this only makes me obviously anticipate the game more.
Sure, dude. Absolutely.
So
I mean,
how do you feel? I do know that The Witcher, if I'm not mistaken, is your favorite game series of all time.
It's one of
very close.
Dude, it is hands down one of my favorites.
Okay,
without a doubt. I loved the second one so much that I went back and played through the first one.
Okay.
And then the third one came out. Obviously, I put like 110 hours into it. It was like I played probably a good month or so of it before my first daughter was born, and then I was like getting ready to be okay with the fact that I wasn't gonna have time to game. And it turns out, like, when you have a new baby and it's just one new baby, you have plenty of opportunity to game.
Yeah.
If you just seize the opportunity. So I kept playing it, and the music wasn't as good as the second one. It was good. Wasn't as good in my opinion, but I loved the gameplay. I loved the fighting style. I felt the second game had the best fighting style still, but it was still good. Still good. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
Rurutu says Cyberpunk 2077 will be releasing on July 7th, 2020 because numbers.
He's not wrong. You know
no,
that,
he's
right?
really not. And if they did that, that's a good marketing ploy. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, dude, you can't argue that. That's amazing. It's brilliant.
Very brilliant. So I'm excited for Cyberpunk 2077. If you didn't know, but
if you don't know now, you know.
On to my next topic. So it's no surprise, or it's no secret, I should say, that Activision Blizzard did a 8% layoff of their company not too long ago. Very sad news. However, they are saying that this could negatively impact our business.
Oh, no, you think?
So that was literally my first point. You don't say. So I don't know if this is something that they're saying. So us, the consumers, the public is like, oh, maybe they do care. Right. You can't fool me, okay? I'm gonna be honest. Can't fool me.
Just as the great George W. said, "Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, and well, you ain't gonna fool me again."
Very much so. I feel like the statement and article say a lot about what may be coming from the current team members of Activision at Blizzard.
It's just diarrhea of the mouth at this point, dude.
Well, I feel bad because they want to produce good games. They want to put out good games. I mean, what developer? Despite everything that goes on, I do feel at the end of the day, the team members, executives. We all know it's about the almighty dollar sign right now.
Yep.
But I do know that these developers, they want to push out good games. However, if they don't want this to impact their business, because then you're going to lose shareholders and investors and things of that nature. So,
well, dude, I mean,
I feel like this
you can't have your cake and eat it too. That's the best way to put it.
Unfortunately, they think they can.
Well, they're not very smart. They're not as smart as I thought they were. Just saying.
So, as much as I would like to see Activision produce a good game, I don't want the developers to go through development hell just for our enjoyment. And that's one thing that I've always stood by. I love good games, and I would much rather, these games take, 5 to 10 years versus a year, because if it's a good game in a year and it's only been in, they announced it and it's after a year of announcement, it comes out and it's only been in production for 2 years and it's a really good game, they put in a lot of time.
Oh, yeah.
So that's one thing that I've always stood by for the gaming industry is just take your time. They're human beings at the end of the day.
Yep.
But they say that the implementation of the restructuring plan may be costly, but I believe that is just a lie.
What was the size of the CEO's bonus again?
So
what was the size of that?
The CFO had a sign-on bonus of $15 million.
Oh, we can't afford people, so we got to let him go.
And
dude.
And
that's just crazy.
The CEO makes a whopping, I believe, $35 million a year.
For what?
Firing people apparently.
It's funny. In tandem to that, I didn't read an article, but I saw a headline for one that's like, for what it's worth, statistically, it's been found that more oftentimes than not, you will find high-profile CEOs weeping in their office because of the pressure of the job. And then somebody like posted that. They're like, I make $40,000 a year and I weep in my office all the time. Like, that's just because of how much you're paid doesn't mean that equates to the amount of pressure you're under. Everybody is under some level of pressure in a lot of their jobs.
Absolutely.
Like Amazon has a huge problem with that. Like, there are people that have literally stated that they stopped crying at work because then it took them away from like their time management and they were getting written up for being late to places. Like, they have spots in Amazon warehouses across the US where people go like to hide and cry because managers will yell at you and say that it causes a morale problem with the other workers.
That's a problem.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to take
No,
away
you're
from
fine.
your comments, but that's a ridiculous statement. Like, oh, well, yeah, it's great. They make $35 million, but they cry a lot. Boo-hoo.
Right.
Laughing all the way to your glass house.
So, last thing I'll say, with them saying that the restructuring plan is going to be costly, that's just a lie because at the end of the day...
Why do you think that's a lie?
Because we all know the devs and team members are not going to make any more money.
Yeah, probably
where
not.
Where are you going to lose money at? I mean, there's probably logistics behind it that I'm not looking into. However, you just cut 8% of your staff.
8% does not seem like a lot until you see the number of people.
Yes. I can't recall. I can't recall what the actual number. I think it was about 800. I think they had like 8,000 employees, but that's 800 people that are now jobless.
Yeah. Well, there's been a lot of articles that have been written about like the gaming industry overall and how, like one article I saw that was published recently, it said that being a game developer means you're constantly in fear of your job.
Yes,
there's no job
hear
security
that all the time.
That's nuts. Like, and it's a shame because I remember growing up as a kid and hearing kids in my class say that they want to grow up to make video games. I went to high school with a kid who artistically was brilliant, self-taught. Brilliant, unique. He had his own style. His name was Derek, and he ended up going to the Pittsburgh Institute of Art to study game development. Mm-hmm. And to take something that you poured your heart and soul into for years and then create a profession out of it only for it to be a constant problem with your employment. Like,
yeah,
dude, something's got to give. It makes me wonder if, like, because I've heard that the game development industry is so toxic. Mm-hmm. You ever think that it would be possible for there to be some sort of like a union as a result?
That's one thing that is talked about everywhere.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Recon Spartan, I have to ask, what's the face for?
No,
I gotta know.
Maybe it's a subject where he's like, we know. That's just.
I mean, if that is the case, I mean, he's not wrong. Unionizing the gaming industry is definitely a very, very hot topic. I do know a lot of game journalists, even developers themselves. They come out and they say this would be very, very beneficial for us. But I digress. So enough of the sad news.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to something fun. Rumor.
Woo!
Halo, the Master Chief Collection for PC might be getting announced next week.
So
now,
this is, excuse me, this is bittersweet for me because I have the Master Chief Collection on the Xbox One, and then they announced keyboard mouse support. So I'm like, oh man, am I gonna get to not only play through Halo with great graphics, but also keyboard mouse? 60 frame, it's fine, whatever. If this happens, I'll be thrilled, and I'll probably pay full price for it, and I'll probably end up replaying the first one just reasons. Yeah. But then I feel like I did all that waiting for nothing.
You did the waiting for the mods.
I know. If there's a Thomas the Tank Engine mod in this, I'm installing it.
Oh, it'll be there. Don't you worry. So I really hope this is true. And it could revive the series in very many ways. Okay.
Yes.
So one of the biggest ones. This is one of the OGs for esports. Okay. Halo tournaments back in the day was like League of Legends is tonight, or like today.
Sure.
It was the cat's pajamas. All right.
It was the dog's tuxedo.
It very much was. I absolutely loved watching the tournaments. And just the professionals. I would follow them, and it was very nostalgic. That's just when I read this, it's nostalgia for me.
Sure, yeah.
I had such a fun time watching, not even playing, but just watching these professionals. Do you have anything else to say about the Master Chief Collection? There's not much.
I want to know if it's going to be the original Master Chief Collection, which I believe is what, Halo 1 through 3, and then it stops there?
No, 1 through 4.
Oh. Wasn't there a Halo 5?
Yes, Halo 5 Guardians, but that was Xbox One release. That was a new game. So.
Are they gonna? Does this mean that they're gonna revamp all of the Halo games that are on the PC if they're doing this just for the Master Chief?
I think it might just be. If you want my honest opinion, I think it's just going to be a port. I don't think there's going to be a lot of customization.
That sucks. That sucks because that basically means that PC users are tied to Xbox One graphics. Why?
It doesn't make sense.
No, that's. If you're going to put a game on a PC, don't just get it because you feel like, oh, people aren't playing on the Xbox One because they're tied to PC and they're just stubborn. Like, no, create the experience if you want the money that comes with the sales of porting to PC.
But who knows? This is something that's been speculated for years now.
Yeah, I know. It was speculated years ago.
It could drop, and Lord only knows. Could have ray tracing support.
Ooh.
Oh, my.
Look, the shadows are so realistic on Master Chief's helmet.
Woo! I'm excited. I hope this is true. I love Halo. I grew up playing it.
I read a few articles earlier today where it's like it was almost put out there like it is definitely happening. Like it's in the works. It's going to happen. I know you said rumor.
Oh yeah,
I said rumor to protect yourself.
It's a rumor. Okay, don't quote me on this.
But quote him on it. Send him hate mail.
That's fine.
Send him all the hate mail you need.
That's acceptable.
I deserve this.
Yeah.
This is what I got.
So let us know your thoughts about the Master Chief Collection, possibly rumor coming to the PC. And then my final topic, okay? This came across yesterday. Diablo, the original Diablo, Joe.
Yes, the original Diablo
has been released on GOG with other Blizzard classics to follow. Like
StarCraft.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. They didn't say names, but Blizzard doesn't have the biggest palette of games, so you
said palette.
Yeah.
Should have said palette.
Palette.
Oh God.
Okay.
Yeah. Whoops.
But the way I see it, people will have the chance now to play one of the defining games of its era, and it only has a price point of $10.
Dude.
$10.
Dude.
It comes with 2 versions. I don't know.
That's crazy.
I don't know what the 2 versions are. I didn't see it didn't go into detail on the article. So maybe Blizzard did a little bit of touching up here and there. Who knows?
Maybe.
I don't know. Where was there 2 versions when it first came out?
For Diablo?
Yeah.
No. There was an add-on. There was expansion. That's why the
expansion. Maybe that's what they referred to.
That'd be pretty cool.
A typo.
I wouldn't be surprised at this point.
But what I did read is the game will play like it did over 20 years ago. All right.
Okay.
So you're gonna
have
no
enhancements.
That's what I'm assuming. So I guess 2 versions would be the DLC. or the add-on, as they called them back in the day.
All right.
But it'll play like it did over 20 years ago.
Right.
So that, for nostalgia fans, woot.
Woo!
And here's the biggest thing, and it's sad that they had to throw this in here, but I can understand what they can. It's compatible with Windows 10. So
no, they had to do that.
They did. Bethesda take notes because I want to play Fallout 3 on my computer. Thank you.
You can't play Fallout 3 on your PC right now.
I've not been able to play it since I got Windows 8.
Are you kidding me?
I mean, I've jumped through hoops to do it, but it would just crash on me.
Is it the Game of the Year edition?
No, it's actually just the standard edition.
You should try buying the Game of the Year edition, right? And then running it, and if it doesn't run, just request a refund.
Okay. All right.
I can't imagine why the Game of the Year edition would make that big of a difference, but...
So, Rutu said, am I going to play it in glorious 360i graphics? Well, you bet you are. Come on.
640 by 480 res. I mean, I had to do that when they first released Halo for the PC back in the day.
Okay, let's see. Another thing, there will even be matchmaking. Hey.
So, like, there's going to be online support. They're going to have online servers for the Halo Master Chief Edition, is what you're saying.
That's what I'm reading.
Is that for real?
That's what it said. So I see the first is a vanilla version, which runs on the game's 1.09b code base with only one noticeable tweak, a scaling fix to ensure that the game renders at its original 4:3 screen ratio.
Okay, but then is there a 16:9 version?
The second included version is a DirectX fueled build of the game, whose extra tweaks were built entirely in-house by GOG. Oh,
there we go.
Among these are support for a variety of resolutions and refresh rates. A borderless window option, VSync toggle, a gamma slider, and a pair of visual filters, anisotropic filtering up to 16x and anti-aliasing up to 8x MSAA.
Nom nom.
So, in-house by GOG. You the real ones.
You the real MVP, GOG?
You the real MVP.
I'm just saying, man.
That's exciting to hear. So you can either play like the OG of the OG version, or
I kind of want to play the second one again. Like, I know it's cool that the first one's happening. If the release of the first one does well, then they'll do a second.
We'll see the second. You know it's gonna sell.
Can we talk about the Resident Evil 3 remake yet?
Please. Please.
You sounded like Capcom.
Please,
Capcom.
There's a survey going around, and people are like, fill this out like it's an actual Capcom survey.
Yeah.
And so, like, the thing is, everything was like a 10 out of 10, and it wasn't even me just like, I want this game, I want this game. Like, I was reading, and I'm like, well, I can't disagree with that. That's how good Resident Evil 2 Remake was.
I know. I'm about to play it 3 times. Again,
I just finished my second time.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, you got to play it 4 times to get the real ending. I'm like, oh, one of those. Well, guess I'm doing it.
I mean, I'm not complaining because it was a great game. Great remake, I should say.
No arguing that at all, dude. If they come out with 3, then that means they have to come out with some sort of rebuild of 4, and then they need to do it with 1. If they came out with
a rebuild of 4, I'd cry.
Dude, just do, well, not like a rebuild, but like, the game is great, but put like 4K textures in it. Call it a day, and then you're good. I'll replay that. And then you got to redo 1. Even though you already have like a remaster of the original, like,
could you imagine 1 in the third person?
It's
like the actual over the.
It would probably be one of the more scary experiences ever, because all of the settings in that game are spooky as hell. Like, more than Resident Evil 2.
Yeah.
Far more than Resident Evil 2.
Absolutely. I'll agree with that. I'll attest to that.
You know what, though? There's one thing I was missing in the Resident Evil 2 remake. The original music. When you walk into the police station.
So, you can... I know people hate to hear this, because it should be included in the game. I agree with you. However, if you pay, I believe it's $3... you can have the original music play, like, at key moments.
Really?
Like, yeah. $3. For a game that good, and only being $3, I would pay the $3. I feel like that's worth it.
Is that like an actual supported add-on?
Yeah, like, that's actually through the Capcom store.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I was watching somebody, he was speaking about that. He's like, I feel like it should be in the game, but this game was so good, and it runs so smooth, like... I will give you $3 for that.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong, but I do believe you can actually have the original character models. I don't know if that's a mod or if you can pay for that, but yeah,
I would do it.
Yeah.
Hands down.
However, that is all I have, and
That's perfect
I'm pretty
timing.
sure,
Dude, that's perfect timing.
Right
Because we're just at an hour and 1 minute since starting the stream, so I am afraid that is all we have time for today. But we will be back next week
oh, you bet we
to
will.
discuss a whole bunch of different things. Some of them controversial, some things that may put my job on the line. You'll just have to tune in to find out.
Dun dun dun.
Thanks for joining us, guys. Have a great weekend.
Goodbye.